So what are we gonna do today, Cousin BW?
The same thing we do every day, Melvin. Try to take over the neighborhood. Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. Welcome to another edition of Grump of the Week, my weekly ramble where I talk about whatever I feel like talking about. Might not always be anti-SJW stuff, I do have a life outside of that, as I'm sure most of you do too. And it might be, it's just whatever I feel like. Well, what a week it's been for me. First of all, been watching 4 of my grandkids all week because of fall break from school. Found out I've got another week of that to go, which is tough on an old man, but I love them grandkids, so what are you going to do? Oh, and before I go any further, I want to go on record to state that the official Bloodwing drinking game has now been established so that every time that you hear me in a video say, you take a drink. And yes, I'm looking at you, Jeff Holiday, if you happen to hear this. Anyway, at the beginning of this week, I remember looking at my subs and seeing they were at about 41 or something like that, I think. And thinking, well, I might reach 50 here pretty soon. And so, come this weekend when I do Grump of the Week, I'll let my subscribers know 2 things that I'm planning on doing if we break 50. Well, at the time of this recording, I'm at 59, which may not seem like a lot, but I'm pretty proud of the subscribers that I've got. I've done most of this on my own, without any real shout outs or anything like that. Haven't done any collaborations, have not as of yet been on any live streams, though I hope to soon. And not that people haven't helped me. Suit Yourself has certainly been very helpful in trying to make my channel or my videos better. Your boy Pat has also been very supportive, and he did give me a shout out in a recent live stream on Ranthony's channel. Appreciate that, Pat. I really do. But for the most part, I've grown it without too much outside help, and I'm proud of that. I'm a lot further along already than I thought I would be at this point. Who'd have thought that anybody would want to listen to some old redneck ramble? But yeah, we're already past the 50 mark, so I guess I'll just have to come out and those 2 things I was talking about. The first one is I'd like to do something a little special for my subscribers, rather, for breaking the 50 mark. And one thought I had is I might do a live stream, Q&A, where you can ask questions from the chat, if I can figure out how to do the live stream thing. I've never been in one. I have no idea how it works, so don't even know if I can figure it out, but we'll try. If that sounds like a good idea to you, if it's something you want, let me know down in the comments down below. The other thing, and this is something that I've always had planned since the very beginning, before I even started this channel, in that very soon I'll be opening a second channel. I really don't expect to make too much money on this channel. So I always had the idea of another channel in mind. I love doing this anti-SJW stuff, don't get me wrong. But I have another passion as well, and that's scary stories. One of my guilty pleasures is going to people like Mr. Nightmare or B-Busta and so forth, and listening to them. They tell scary stories, creepypastas, you name it. And my plan has always been to open a second channel that does the same thing. And I hope for my channel to be a little bit different in that some of the stories I hope to be my own. I do dabble in writing and telling stories, have over the years. And I also plan on basing it on a very old idea. When I was a kid, every major and medium TV market in America had their own local horror movie host that would be on Fridays or Saturdays late at night and show horror movies. Here where I live, we had Sammy Terry. Boy, this guy used to scare the bejesus out of me when I was a little kid. I would sit up, I would beg my mother to let me sit up. 6, 7, 8 years old. Please, Mom, let me sit up and watch Sammy Terry. Please, please, please. And she would hesitate and remind me the last time I did, I ended up in bed with her, scared to death. But eventually I'd talk her into letting me watch him. And I'd sit up and watch Sammy Terry, and he'd be showing like some old Universal monster movies such as Frankenstein or Dracula or the Wolfman. Sometimes they'd be English Hammer horror films or some of the old United artists like I Was a Teenage Frankenstein, that sort of thing. And invariably I'd get scared before it was over and go running into Mom's bed. But I grew up with it. I mean, I think he started in 1962 and didn't end until probably into the 80s. I actually got to meet the man behind the makeup when he'd done a commercial for a car dealership I was working for at the time in the service department. And I've actually seen him without his makeup. But I have a lot of fond childhood memories about watching Sammy Terry in those movies. And so my channel will have a host. For now, the working name of the channel is Pappaw's Bedtime Stories. We'll call him Pappaw. So it'll have a host that will introduce each story in the same way, in the same vein as the old horror movie hosts did. And then it'll just be me reading those stories or creepypastas. So, if you like that sort of thing, if you're into it, if you think you'd like to hear that, I'm going to put a email address down in the comments. I've opened an email account just for stories. So you can use that email address. If you have any stories or creepypastas to send me, send them. I only ask one thing, and before your head explodes, let me explain it. I ask that you try to keep them clean, and there's a good reason behind that. I want to make the channel somewhat kid-friendly, and also because of a promise I made my 9-year-old grandson. He loves his Papaw, and he knows I do a YouTube channel, and he wants to watch, but his mother and I won't let him watch because sometimes the language and sometimes the subject matter is just a little much for a 9-year-old. So I promised him that when I opened my second channel, I'd let him watch that. So try to keep it clean. I understand I may have to bleep some things out, and it's not because I'm a prude or anything like that. It's just that I really want to try to keep it somewhat kid-friendly. I don't mean little kids, but, like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old and up. Because I remember getting myself scared watching Sammy Terry at that age, and that's just what I want to do. So if you would, try to keep it clean. If not, I'll just kind of bleep it myself or change the words. or whatever I have to do. Again, it's not because I'm a prude, but I did promise my grandson. Excuse me. Some of the things going on this week. As I record this is Saturday evening. I'm an American and I'm a redneck. Tomorrow's Sunday. Now, if you put 2 and 2 and make 4, you know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Watching football. And no, I'm not talking about what Europeans call football, what we Americans call soccer. I mean the NFL. Don't know if you like that sort of thing, but I'm a huge football fan. I'm a fan of the hometown team, the Indianapolis Colts. I live in Indianapolis. My second favorite team are the New York Giants. I've been a fan of theirs since the 80s. And I always, this time of year, look forward to football the next day. And that's what I'll be doing come tomorrow. That's the reason I usually don't have too much activity on a Sunday on Minds, or I even get behind on watching my videos because I'm too interested in watching the game. That's the sort of thing that I like to do, besides gaming that I mentioned last week. Let's see, Suit Yourself, I mentioned him earlier. What about that big boost he got? Like over 2,000 subscribers from doing that guest spot on Undoom's channel. Congratulations, Suit, when you hear this. You deserve it, buddy. Let's see what else is going on. Boy, I'm doing the lip smack thing. Yeah, Pat, you're not the only one that does that. Rory announced today the opening of his new channel, Project Greener Grass, which is a channel that's going to focus on featuring smaller channels that he's come across. Now, you have to be submitted. You can't submit yourself, so don't go shilling on his comments and saying, "Pick me, Mr. Cotter, pick me, ooh, ooh, ooh." But if someone comes across your channel and they like it, it's somewhere they can go and let Rory know, and contact him, and he may get with you and put it on there. And if you're not a content creator, or even if you are, I suggest you go over and check it out. It's a good way to get to know some of the smaller channels. You never know how many diamonds in the rough you might find in doing that. Of course, the American election is all in the news, as it has been for a while now. This week there's been that whole deal with the video that Neistat fellow made. Personally, and as I've made it clear in other videos, I'm not a real political person, per se. And this election just really holds nothing for me. I don't like either candidate. I don't feel like voting for one just to keep the other out. I mean, that's just picking the lesser of two evils. I'm not sure whether I'm going to vote this year or not. I just don't know. But I know this. I know I am so ready for the month of November to be over so I can quit hearing about it. I think if I had to pick between the two, I'm more afraid of Hillary than I am of Trump, but I think Trump's an idiot. So, who do you pick? I've been afraid of Hillary ever since I first seen her when she was just first lady, or wasn't even first lady yet, when Bill Clinton was just running for office. And I remember thinking there's just something scary about that lady that I can't put a finger on. That doesn't mean I'm a Trump supporter, because I think Trump he's got some good ideas I can get behind, but sometimes he's just not very smart. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm ready for it all to be over. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I sure am. And anyway, But I don't know if I said it at all through that, but I figure I better at least throw one in there so you can take a shot. I think that's about all that I've got for today. Again, I want to acknowledge the subs that I've picked up this week. Thank you very much. For my new subs, welcome. And for those of you that have been watching for a while, maybe, and not subbing, what's keeping you? Go ahead and sub. You know you want to. In the words of Scooter,
I'd say you and Blood got an extra special relationship. Like cousins taking a bath together. Oh.
And don't worry, I get it. I'm real stingy with my subs, with the exception of maybe Undoomed. I subbed to him the very first video. Dude just captivated me. But even Bering, who everybody knows I'm a huge fan of, I watched through almost his whole library that he had up to that point before I actually subbed to him. I'm real stingy about it. I'll watch a person for weeks, sometimes even months, before I actually commit a sub. I'm just stingy like that. So I do get it. But if you get around to it, if you think my content is worth it, feel free to hit that sub button, like, share, whatever you want. And if you don't want to, hey, no hard feelings. Different strokes for different folks. So that's going to be it for me for this Grump of the Week. And as always, get out of my yard.